Hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Joining myself on the show this evening is AK and GB. How you doing, guys?
Howdy Southside and howdy AK. Very well tonight on this sunny Friday night, mate.
Yeah!
AK?
Yeah! I'm doing fine, mate. I'm Yankee Doodle Dandy. Evening, Southside, GB, and everybody that's listening.
I'll just give Wallace a shout out. He's the first troops in the YouTube channel, so give Wallace a shout out and thanks for joining us tonight, and everybody else out there for listening in this evening. Finally, guys, the consortium of the 49ers group led by Andrew Kavanagh has finally got the deal sealed, and officially they've now got control and stake in Glasgow Rangers Football Club. GB, excited?
Oh, very, very Southside. It's been a long time coming. Obviously, I've been hearing this takeover since probably back December time, I think, for me, to be honest. And it says there's been the murmurings, it's never going to happen and all that across the city. And for me, it was never in doubt, to be honest, with the amount of noise that was behind it, the amount of people that were telling us about what was going to happen, like, say, Dave King and stuff like that. But one thing I'm surprised about is I know there was a lot of noise that there was going to be an announcement this week, but I'm actually surprised it's this first, Southside. I did think this was maybe got to be the middle of June or something like that, but I'm actually glad it's early line and done, because I think it just gives us a kind of bit of clarity now what these guys are all about. And as AK will come on to later with a statement, it's just fantastic reading. It's just basically sounds like they're right up for the fight.
Aye, serious players, serious people, as we'll go on and talk about, AK. And they come obviously with a financial backing, which we'll talk about, where they've already pledged a start-up pack for us at the moment. But happy, big man, aye?
Oh, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I could crush a grape, as the Stu Francis would say all the years ago in that stupid game show. But nearly 40 years ago, Scottish football witnessed the soonest revolution. Rangers swept all before them. Today, with this news, 49ers enterprise, we witness the American revolution. It's time to unite, mate. Get behind the new owners, the new manager, new team. It's a welcome breath of fresh air for Scottish football, and get this great institution of yours heading Scottish football where we should be, Kings of Scotland, mate. That's how big this is for me.
Aye, it's transformational to the club. Obviously, we've had the 10 years for the old board there, and obviously a few of them have moved over, as we'll talk about, to let the deal happen, GB. But aye, serious players, they've got a track record, they've done things like this before and they've had success. And now they're managing to they're going to invest into Glasgow Rangers. Obviously, they've contributed a bit to buy the shareholders out who's left and leaving. But aye, it's great news and really looking forward to it, GB. I think it's just what we needed, just at the right time. Just now, I think the old board had done what they could, but we knew beyond you that we had to get a fresh injection of cash. The trading model hadn't really worked up before then to help them along. And now they've put a fund in place where they've said already that we'll give you there's a start-up fund of 20 million going in straight away to the playing side.
It's brilliant. So I say, just touching on board members past and present and stuff like that, like it says, we can't thank them enough in the sense of where we were at probably pre-Gerrard and stuff like that, how they came in and stabilised us, did stop the 10, got us to a European final and stuff like that. But as you said there, the last couple of seasons, as Dave King says, the fatigue set in, and these guys were probably at their peak investment, I would have said, and we were just needing. I think they could have easily found probably another couple of guys that were kicking about as millionaires, but for us to go and find billionaires is definitely got to take us to the next level, Southside, and this consortium, 49ers Enterprise and stuff like that. For what I've seen and for what I've read, and this is only my opinion, I've not seen really any bad headlines from them. So, like say Leeds and stuff like that, I've not really seen their fans protesting outside or anything like that about anything they've done. Same way the Leipzig and stuff like that, the Red Bull side of things, and then even the 49ers thing, enterprise to itself across the water. You don't really see a lot of bad headlines. All you really do see is big money deals and the clubs doing well. So I'm hopeful, mate. I'm very optimistic of these new owners. Like you say, they've gave us a wee start-up injection. I think there will be more to come, but they're being sensible about it. Southside, they're just not going to come in here and just chuck money about. They're going to build it and make sure it's sustainable, as they've obviously said. And hopefully that means that we'll have a better calibre of player. And as AK says as well, it's time to get right behind this now. No matter what happens with the manager, whether we like it or we don't like it, we've just got to trust their judgment, because let's face it, anybody that's coming in chucking 20 million at Rangers really has the best intentions, I would say.
Aye, well, the thing we've got to all understand is AK, they're going to come in, they've got their own ideas, they know what they want to do. You can see the building blocks that have been getting put in place there, with Thelwell getting announced earlier on. Starts the job on Monday, I believe. And obviously, they know what they're probably quite far down the road of the line of a manager, as we anticipate, which we might expect to hear that early next week, possibly. So you've got to understand that they've been putting the building blocks in place. They've done their due diligence and everything, and it's now complete. And it's about them probably being transparent ways, which I think they have been. And I think maybe in the next few minutes we'll be like read out that letter they've gave to the support. So they've been transparent at the moment anyway, for the start, letting us know that we've got a fund, and obviously they've had to pay a significant amount of money to get a certain amount of shareholders to get their shares. AK.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's as GB touched on there. I mean, these are serious people, and they're well educated and they're well versed in the roles that they do within the 49ers enterprise. And they're touching on obviously the football market. American football is where their kind of baby started, but they're obviously branching out, and they recognise they've got opportunities here to delve into different sports. And obviously they're in to make money out of it. They're not just in because it's Glasgow Rangers, a big institution, big club they see struggling, should be doing better. They've got no emotional attachment to this whatsoever. And as GB touched on there, we thank the previous board, but as Dave King also said, we couldn't go about season to season, year to year, cap in hand, to certain millionaires that we had on the board. Can you bail us out? That's not what we needed to get to, bigger and better. And a couple of million off of, individuals here and there, it was more than that. But we all know it was more than that. But doing that every year, it wasn't getting us anywhere, because you just look at our lack of success. If we've been promoted back to the Premier League, it's nowhere where we need to be, we should be, or where the supporters want us to be. So this is massive. It's a step up. We can thank everybody behind the scenes for kind of getting us there, and that includes Dave King, obviously. I think Alistair Johnson touched on it, that talks have been ongoing, reaching out to the American people. We've had them in our club for months. You've heard on Radio Clyde, Celtic supporter Declan will come saying this is a lot of nonsense, Hugh Keevans, it's no happening, it's a fake over. He says, what's Sandra Kavanagh going to Rangers games for? The guy says to get his My Jers points up. Could not believe it. Southside, a man after your My Jers points there, Andrew Kavanagh, but I don't know. I don't think you'll quite reach your platinum level yet, right enough. But it's exciting times ahead, mate.
Aye, you know what the obsessed are like. They'll have already done their full detail on every director that we've put in place and who's in the consortium, and they'll all know everything about them already, probably, So, but it'll be funny to listen to over the next period of time. I'm sure the media will try and find a way to try and play it down. Just quickly, we do have the phone lines open now, Techie team. I've had to put a lot of man hours in, plenty of man hours, believe it or not, over days. And we've finally got a phone line up and running, but it isn't the usual number. We've got a temporary number at the moment. So at the moment, if you'd like to phone the show and come in and join us, the number is 0141 461 2422. So it's 0141 461 2422. If you phone that, you can come on and join us on the show. But we're hoping that it will just be temporary and we'll get our old number back very shortly. So our phone lines are open, so anytime hopefully we'll get some callers in, GB.
Yep, so I said it'd be really good to hear from them, really good to hear folks' opinions on it, young and old, how they feel about this buyout, because it's massive. It could be a big turning point in the Rangers' history for us. So, what it says, give a phone, as I say.
AK, temporary, something you know about?
No. Aye, no, listen, the Takey team have been working hard in getting the platform up and running to the high standard that we usually produce. So kudos to the guys and well done for getting us there. Hopefully, we're hoping that number reverts back to our usual number, but it's getting callers in. This is a phone-in show, you know, so we've managed to get the likes of Dalmarnock and Billy and that in there, and even Old Davy managed to come on for a show through Teams, so I think you can come on that way as well, or phone the number, is what you said there. So I'd be interested to hear other callers coming in tonight and give their opinions and what they think of the new takeover and the new owners.
Aye, and the new system, Takey team's done well to get it up to a great standard, and you'll go to listen to us three tonight to bring it down a bit. But anyway, I'm waiting to hear the negatives and all. You'll probably hear the negatives coming, GB. See how long it takes the press, the media, to start playing it down. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to react to it, because it's a monumental piece of business that's been done at Glasgow Rangers for the new owners to come in. They're coming in and probably they might even transform Scottish football to a point. And put us into a different level, but we have to recruit properly first, GB. That's the thing. Once the manager comes in, it's all right having money, but as we've seen, we've wasted a lot of money over the years that the old board gave us, and certain managers wasted it. So we've got to get it right, and obviously having a proper director of football, as we think we have, might make us make the right signings.
Aye, so you said that this is the thing, isn't it? I think it'll be maybe strange for a few is that we're going to see this modern Rangers football club appearing, like say this director of football. We've kind of tested the water previous to it with Wilson. I thought the Mark Allen part with Gerrard actually worked pretty well, but Gerrard was always seen as the kind of still a manager. But I'm kind of seeing and reading that it's going to be head coach that we're going to be appointing rather than a manager. So this is kind of the modern way that we're going to be seeing this, and it will be interesting because, well, I'm hoping that we ask the right questions on that. Is it going to be that the coach is just the coach and he's just got to coach whatever players come in through the director of football? Because at least if there's some accountability there from me Southside, then that will give us a better understanding of who's to blame if the signings are wrong, or who's to congratulate if we get a winning team on that park. So I think, like it says, the 49ers, they've rebuilt Leeds' football club. There's some exciting players that you see down there. No really big name players, like guys that you don't really hear about, but yet see some of the pace and power in that team down there. I just hope that what it says, it transfers onto what it says Rangers in some shape or form, that we start to see some of these kind of signings creep into Rangers.
I think it's Kevin Thelwell. He'll be the guy that'll be responsible. He's a sporting director, AK. And I think probably waiting until Monday for him to start his job, I think's right, because now we've got a new board, as we'll talk about shortly, assembled. And now we've got the sporting director, who's probably been working for him anyway, and doing his stuff behind the scenes, but officially starts Monday. So that's the next appointment, which seems to be in place, which we're doing things right. And then shortly after that, it'll be the manager, and then we'd expect it to be players.
Yep.
On that order.
There's a process obviously to follow. Just wanted to touch on something that GB said there, and you're right, by the way. I just got the impression, I don't know about you guys, the last few years, our manager for the Gerrard kind of era, right through Gio, Beale, Clement, they were kind of isolated up there in the press conference themselves. It was them that was taking all the questions. I'm hoping that whoever our new manager is, right, because we're going down this different route, with a head coach rather than a manager now we've got a director of football, we've got a CEO. Do you not think that Patrick Stewart should be sitting to one side of the manager, Kevin Thelwell sitting to the other side of the manager, and the three of them facing the questions, along with our press officer up there, to stop some nonsense questions that keeps getting fired at the manager when they didn't have the facility to answer in the first place? I think that's the look that they're going to go down, rather than have that kind of Walter Smith guy that just, he dealt with the players and the team and everything on the park, but he also had the wit and the knowledge about him to, bat away questions. I think the Enterprise's, ethos is totally different mindset. So rather than one guy get all the questions and everything, all the criticism and everything gets levelled at him, then three of them are taking it on board. Your thoughts there, guys?
I think probably Thelwell will speak when it comes to signing of players. I think if there's any criticism of the club or we're having a go at the SFA or anything like that, I think that would probably come for Patrick Stewart. And I think you'll probably hear the chairman talk at sometimes about certain things as well. But I think it'll work the way maybe he's talking about AK's talking about GB. But I think when it comes to player recruitment or things player manager, I think it will come through Thelwell. And I think Patrick Stewart will talk, as he's made a couple of statements for, and when he spoke about the club and also things that is maybe happening. Maybe development work and stuff might come for the chairman, as we know they can still continue to work in the Copeland stand, GB.
I agree, AK. I think there will be needs to be, because if it's a head coach that's sitting there, let's face it, I know the press will be chasing for answers, but us as fans will be wanting questions answered as well, you know what I mean? And I think Patrick Stewart's definitely got a role to play in making us aware of where we're going, or like picking back a couple of things. So like if we go into this new season and there's strange decisions as we're asking puts out, then I think he's got to be there and got to be strong and call it out. I would probably prefer that the head coach just focuses on the team, but I would imagine he always got to get drawn into it, especially like I say, if there's like a penalty incident or something like that, or a referee's performance, they're going to also hound him for an answer after that. But I'm expecting, like I say, the club to be a wee bit more organised and to fight their battles away from the coach, and hopefully the coach can just focus on building us a successful team, a team that's consistent, hopefully. But I just don't think you can escape it in the Scottish football. I think no matter what we probably try and put in place, there's always going to be that kind of digging for a story, unfortunately. And again, we've got to have a strong head coach who comes in. He's got to be prepared for that. He's got to be prepared for criticism and again, probably put people questioning his tactics and stuff like that. But again, we just don't know. We need to wait till these guys move in and see what they've got about them. I mean, whether Thelwell's going to, as AK says, be there right beside the coach, or are we going to get more interviews through RTV so that we're informed of what's going on? We don't know. I think for what I've heard as well, that the 49ers are not really big speakers in the press. I don't think that, for what I've read, they're not really into talking to the press a lot. So that's a concern for me as well, because I don't want them to shut up shop either.
It really bother me. Once things are ticking along, and I think once we start to build a team, and if you're winning, nobody really wants to hear AK too much, I think, for what the board members, chairman's really got to say in the past. nobody really bothers about it. When you're up and running as a machine and you're winning domestic trophies and you're having success, nobody really cares really who's in the background in the boardroom. But I believe there was an open letter to supporters that was released earlier on the day. And I think if you don't mind, AK, if you'd like to read it out.
Aye, just bear with me then. I'll go and find it. Right. Right. This is an open letter from our new Rangers chairman and vice chairman. Dear Rangers supporters, we are proud to be entering a new chapter for this extraordinary club. This moment is a result of months of thoughtful discussions with club leadership and our shared confidence in Rangers' success going forward. To that end, we'd like to tell you a bit about our thinking. Simply put, our goal is to win trophies in Scotland and be able to compete at a high level in Europe while laying a foundation of financial sustainability for the future. As our first step, we are investing fresh capital into Rangers, which will be strategically deployed on and off the pitch. While we recognise the importance of resources, we believe that thoughtful, disciplined investment, guided by a clear strategy, is the path to enduring success. Every decision, whether sporting or business, will be made with the club's long-term success and sustainability in mind. We aim to leverage the full strength of 49ers Enterprises, sporting expertise and operational experience, and are confident in Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thirlwell to lead this next phase. Our first priority together is clear: hiring a new men's head coach. That process is already well underway and we look forward to share more updates soon. We will also look to invest in talent for our teams. Moving forward, we are reconstituting the board to bring in a few new voices and skill sets. We owe a special thanks to the previous board for their service. They stepped up in a difficult moment when the club needed them and laid the foundation for what comes next. Above all, we know that true success comes from understanding and honouring what makes this club special. In our time getting to know Ibrox, Glasgow and you, we've felt the pride, history and passion that Rangers set apart. You've made it clear that this club means to you, and we take responsibility of leading this club seriously. We look forward to seeing you at Ibrox soon. For now, we'll keep working and we can't wait for what's ahead. Andrew Kavanagh, Chairman, Padraig Marat, Vice Chairman.
Yeah, very well read out there, AK.
Well, thank you very much.
What do you think of that then, GB? Is that sort of satisfy you, sort of what you were looking for? I know it's early days, but you always look at the first statement.
I like the bit that simply put. I like how they put that in. You know, I mean, the simply the best bit. You know, I mean, simply put, our goal is to win trophies in Scotland and stuff like that, and compete at a high level. The other bit I loved as well is that we aim to leverage the full strength of the 49ers Enterprises, sporting enterprise and operational experience. I mean, that tells me, hopefully, all these stupid muscle injuries that players keep picking up and all the rest of it, that, like I says, the 49ers Enterprises sporting enterprise will be able to come in and, like I says, sort that out for us, get guys fit, probably spot injuries, help get them back on the park as quick as possible. I think that's been badly lacking, and I think their expertise is going to be vital because, again, I've not looked into Leeds about their injury history, but again, you don't hear about them having, now like Spurs, you heard in the news that how many injuries they had and stuff like that, whereas Leeds seem to get through that championship no bother. So I think, like I says, it's going to be good. The other thing obviously jumps out that maybe some people think it's a negative, but is that they're saying that every decision will be in the best interest of the club's long-term success and sustainability. That could be naming rights to certain things as well down the line. If that's a business decision to bring in some serious cash to the club, we'll just have to ride it. We'll just have to go with it because, like I says, it's all about getting a good team in the park, making money, and, like I says, being sustainable for years to come with a long-term success plan.
Aye, I think the fact that they mentioned strategic sort of buy-in and a long-term sort of bide for the club. They talk about sustainability, all stuff that you'd expect and that you want at your club. Win trophies and do well in Europe. Okay, so aye, it's all stuff that we know and we expect. But I just think they're going to be an efficient brand of people. You know, you can tell. You just need to look at them, and we'll probably go in and have a wee touch on them just shortly, and maybe second half of the show, who's all involved and what they've been doing in the past. But no, I think it's looking bright, and I think it's something that we can all look forward to. Hopefully, and it's just we'll judge them as they go along. But I think it'll be 3 years down the line before you'll be able to sit and have a clear look. Obviously, get a few transfer windows out the way as well, and see where we are on the park first and foremost. That's how they'll be judged, what we do on the park.
Aye, success. That determines any level of business, whether it be football, different sports. But these are serious guys, and they've got plenty of cash behind them to get the success. I just think, see with the amount of American investment in particular the UK clubs, I think they've foreseen the likes of the Super League, and it's basically the Champions League has become the Super League, and that's where they want to take us. And to be there, the easiest route to be there is obviously be champions of Scotland, and obviously on the back of accumulating enough like coefficient points, it's an automatic entry rather than do the qualifying route. So it's going to be a wake-up call for the rest of Scottish football. I expect Celtic to respond, to react in whatever way, because they've had their monopoly of Scottish football for far too long unopposed. These guys are coming in to oppose that, and that's music to our ears as Rangers supporters that suffered for a good 10-15 years. We want to see our team back at the top of Scottish football, Kings of Scotland. And I think that's where the 49ers enterprise see us as being back to the top and simply the best, GB.
Aye, you're not going to come in and put all this money in and want to fail or want it to take time and go, oh, it's a year or two, you know. They want to hit the ground running, and obviously the Champions League qualifiers coming up on the 22nd, 23rd of July, where we kick off for that. And if we make it through to the Champions League, I believe GB, I think we're definitely going into pot 2 with our coefficient points. And if another club makes it, I believe they'll be in pot 4. That just shows you. But aye, pot 2 is where we'll probably go if we can make through the 2 qualifiers that we'll have faced in front of us.
Which will be good, I mean. And again, we're at the big table again, and hopefully, like I say, they're picking the right players that will be able to cope with that Southside. Just on that, I mean, what is your expectations this season coming? Are you expecting them to come in and challenge for this title? Are you expect them to qualify for the Champions League? For me, the Champions League might be too soon for us. I do think we've been maybe too late, unless, like I say, for these past 6 months, these guys have been getting everything teed up and ready. But I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to build the squad quick enough to get through these qualifying rounds, because these teams now that you're playing that you don't think are big names, they've got good talent in their teams already as well. So it's a hard path to get there. But don't get me wrong, I think we can do it. I just think we need to get moving on it, and we need to get the right players in. But for me, my expectation Southside for this season is to at least mount a challenge. I don't want to be sitting the same as last season there, that we're 19 points behind. I want to see us coming into the tail end of the last couple of games where it's neck and neck, and it's all to play for. That's what my expectation is, and hopefully there's maybe trophies like, say, cups and that we can chuck in with it. But that's kind of my expectation for this season, because it is so new. But I think let's maybe be shooting the moon if we expect them to come in here and let's get everything, like Champions League, win a title, win a treble. You know what I mean? That would be dreamland, I think.
Aye, it would be. Honestly, I think going for the league title. GB is first and foremost this year. There's no more. Can you keep just skiing it away across the city? I think it's got to be the first. That's got to be the manager's goal when he comes in. James, I see you've managed to get in now, so if he gives a wee second, I'll come to you. I think the league, GB, for me, first and foremost, cups in Scotland. When you get back to winning domestic trophies, you need to be winning your league. As in Europe, depending on who we get, I've seen a couple of sort of teams that I think we could get. Depending on how many signings, I think a group of the maybe talking at the moment for the squad, you might find that maybe 6 of them would maybe take part in it as the first Champions League qualifier. And then you add whoever else you bring in that short space of time. And doesn't mean to say they'll still be there come the end of July or into August, but I think there could be 6 players potentially at the squad at the moment that might have to start that qualifier. But if we're going to Europa League, fine. But for me, Scotland, GB, it's got to get back to winning domestic. James, how are you? All the way from Tennessee.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I was excited this morning when I saw the news come through, and I was asking people at work about the 49ers San Francisco, and they said one of the guys is from that area, and he says that it's an expensive town. So I've been to San Francisco. It's an expensive town, and they're a good company. So I was very excited, and I think it's a new start for us all, etc. And they'll do a very good job. And don't be surprised if you see thousands of Americans come to Scotland to support the team through this, because they find any way to come to Scotland. So if anyone wants to start a business over there, now's the time. Because they'll come in their thousands, I think, because they like Scotland. A lot of them are from here, their ancestors. So they'll come. Even my boss is a Rangers fan. I've converted him, and he likes the Rangers. So this will be a good thing for the club. Very excited.
I think, James, when you see the fact that San Francisco 49ers followed the Rangers on the Twitter feed, and obviously when they put a tweet out to the following they've got, it'll get well seen. And I think they will try and promote the brand over there. I don't think that will not even be up for debate. Obviously, we've got a big following in America, but they'll certainly expose us, James, to a level above what we're at the moment.
Yeah, you'll see big changes in even the food courts, and they'll make differences there, and they'll bring more food in and more things in. They'll bring everything in. They're really good at marketing a business, because the one in Nashville, the stadium in Nashville, the food court extends right round the whole of the stadium. You know what I mean? There's not just one little bit, it's the whole of the stadium. You walk round and then you get into your seats or up the stairs. So they'll bring lots of stuff, and they'll be really good for the club. But and I think
Big Stevie, if he sees that food, James, getting delivered to his seat.
Well, that's what happened to me in the cinema. I used to not go to the cinema, and I would never went. And I went with this girl. I'll not tell you what happened with her, but anyway. So, and we got food delivered to the seat, and even in the cinema. So yeah, they'll do anything. They're fantastic. So I think this is a good 20 million. If they buy the right players, and they'll make money on transfers. There'll not be this let players go like Morelos and Kent anymore. These days are gone. If they don't sign contracts, they'll be told, no, you're leaving or you're a sub. They'll not mess around, by the way.
Aye, I think that's Delwell's job when he comes in. I think that'll be his first port of call, GB. Players, I think it's just down to him. That'll just have to tell them bluntly, you'll not be part of our future going forward. Whether he'll have to wait till the new manager comes in, or whether they'll sort of make a judgment on some of the players. I think you'll probably have to let the manager have a look at them, but I think we all know that some of them will have to go regardless. We don't really see much of a future unless they can reinvent them.
Oh, you're right, Southside. Even at the end of the season there, like, you could tell that it was a bit of ruthlessness there with the boys that were out of contract. There was none of this kind of all pals act, or maybe we should have skied another year. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a big Balogun's fan and all that rest of it, and Hadji was good as well. But in years gone by, we would probably give them like maybe a year's extension or something like that, and just held on to them for another year. But I think what it says, that was just the sign of the start of it. It was just basically, I'm sorry, that's the end of your contract. See you later. We're moving on. And look at John Suter as well. He got told your contract renewal's getting put on hold until we get our new consortium in and our new manager and stuff like that. So again, they'll weigh up whether he's worth getting another 3 years or whatever. You know what I mean? So I says, I think it's good, and these, like you have always said there, and throughout the show, is that these guys, they have been there and done it. Whether it's been American football or with Leeds or let's say with RB, then they've probably already know what exactly is needed at Rangers. You know what I mean? So I'm like I says, I'm really excited once the manager's announced. I think, like you say, Southside, I think we're hopefully going to see a kind of, I'm not saying a flood in the signings, but I would expect them to start nearly every other day. You're going to be linked with somebody.
Aye, but I take it for next week. I expect AK. I think Monday onwards. I think it'll start to go quick. I think if we've got players sitting there, or we've got players that we've been seeking and we know that we're wanting to go and get when the manager's announced, I think we'll wait till the manager's announced, and I think we'll see a flood of players come in at the back of AK.
I think you could be right there, mate. I think all these guys, I mean, they've been put in position. I believe Patrick Stewart was put in position with the 49ers. You know, he was the guy that was in. They wanted somebody in the building first, just to kind of feel, get the feeling of the club, and obviously who they were going to be dealing with. And then obviously Kieran Thelwell appears above Niels Coppin. So he's going to be the guy that's dealing with transfers. The last bit of the jigsaw, as far as after part's concerned, is now the new manager role, and I think that's you know, it's there. It's just a matter of announcing it there. It's obviously took a bit of time, and as the clock's ticking by, and the season's just finished there, but then the new season is, you know, it's only 3 weeks away before the players and that come back in again to start their pre-season. So supporters, we're kind of going, what's happening here? But they had it under control all the time, and it's just, you've just got to trust the process with them, and trust these guys that are going to make, you know, no rush decisions, but the right decisions, and that's what we need. Because we've said it on this platform for a wee while. The owners, the directors, the board of directors, the investors and all that, they have put plenty of money into our club, particularly in the last 5-6 years, but we've squandered the money on terrible recruitment, on rewarding players with, you know, over exuberant contracts, where we've actually chased all prospective buyers because they weren't able to match the wage that they were already on. Hence the reason why Kent dug his heels in and he wasn't going anywhere, so he had to leave for nothing. Morelos done the same, and players of that ilk. We didn't capitalise on these players when they were their, you know, their value was high. We should have been punting them. I think James has touched on it bang on there. See the likes of, we've got Raskin on his term now, right? He's into his last 2 years of his contract. See if he's not willing to extend that with another year and gives another year, because now all of a sudden his mindset's going, I want to be part of this club. I want to be part of this new success. I'll sign that other year. Give me captain, whatever. Or, no, I don't fancy it. Well, sorry, wee man, you're getting sold, because we need to reinvest that money back into the team to help our new manager. So it's going to come down to that, rather than Clement's situation last year, where he couldn't buy a player until he sold a player. The 49ers will go, Matondo, we can't get rid of you. Well, there you go, there you're a million or whatever, away you go. We couldn't afford to do that in the last 3-4 years. So all these players basically held the club to ransom, and I think that ends all of that. So it's great business sense to do that, to have the financial power to do that. And, you know, these players aren't holding the club to ransom anymore, and you've got proper guys in here to call shots now.
Well, you just mentioned him, Matondo. I was thinking of a player, if I thought, how could we reinvent if somebody expect to go? I'd expect him to go, right, let's not be kidded. But say the manager decides he likes him and he gets fit and he could be a ever-present or turn up more for his work than he had before. That's the thing. Could he reinvent a player, or are we already taking it that he'll be gone? That's the thing, James, no. It'll be down to the manager, the system and the style that he's going to play. I'd expect Matondo to go, let's not be kidded. But we wonder if there's a player there that we are expecting to go with a bit on his contract that isn't featured. And he's about the only one, really, that's going to probably come back to the squad that's left. But as you touch on Raskin, I don't think even Matondo, James, do you think they'd pay £1 million? The Americans would pay £1 million odds just to get him off the books, or do you think they'd think, you know what, we'll get money for you somehow, or we'll give you it in a loan deal, but the club will pay some of your wages if no all of them on a loan deal, so we're not out of pocket?
Well, what they do is they say to the guy, if you don't move on or you don't play well, you're not going to play at all, and you'll be stuck in the reserves. And we'll do a deal. We'll not give you the full amount, but we'll give you, say, 2/3 or something, or a half, and you can move on. But what I was thinking, the Americans like to talk, but Kavanagh and the other guy are quiet. A lot of these guys will be quiet and they'll let other guys take the heat, if you know what I mean. But they'll know the system of the referees here. They'll know that. They'll know that the decisions, and they're going to come down on that, by the way. They'll know that if they don't, they're foolish. If they get any bad decisions anymore, they'll come down and say, look, he's not fit for purpose. We don't want him refereeing another game. Do you know what I mean? Well, that stupid goal at Hibs was ridiculous, by the way. You know what I mean? How he never get hammered for that, I don't know. So they'll come down with the SFA, I think. I think this is the time they'll change, because they're spending millions, and they know that the SFA might cost them the league because of these bad referees. And some of them are biased, by the way. Maybe not corrupt, but they're biased. They've supported Celtic at the Catholic schools, etc., and so forth. And they know. I'm a referee myself, and sometimes if somebody gives me a hard time, well, I'm not going to give them the decision. I'm not going to be corrupt, but come on. I think they'll start speaking out against the SFA, which is a big problem. And I've said for years, they need footballers who'll get stuck into the other law. It gives us a hassle, and say to them, look, you put the boot in him, you know what I mean? And then we'll take you off. Play fire with fire if they're going to do it this way. They'll not have these players that are not scared to tackle and all that. They need tough players.
Well, as you're mentioning that, James, then who do you think's the manager that you think's maybe going to get the job, but will come in and say that to them, no?
Well, the manager it's actually realises that. See, one of the things I don't understand is footballers also want to win. But we talk about in the programme years they don't understand the culture. But no, come on. Look at the titles. The other lots won. And anybody with any brain say, well, you're coming into a team that's not won anything. The other lot's winning everything. Are you going to stand up to them? Oh, yes, I will. Or, you know what I mean? People know that. Players know that. The other team are winning everything. They know that. So the one that kind of realises that they're not going to, as I said, Tavernier, you know I'm not a lover of Taverniers, but good footballer, but far as being in a war, you want to take him in a war, you know what I mean? Maybe not even me, but he's a bit too soft, and he's let McGregor away with years of stuff, you know what I mean? Years and years of stuff they've been getting away with, murder and being more physical than us, and you know what I mean? And the board never said anything. The board never said, why is McGregor not getting a card? You know what I mean? Anyway.
I think everybody knows why they don't get many kills.
Well,
James,
that's what I'm
though,
saying.
it's pretty obvious. You know, you look at a guy who gave a penalty at Ross County. Was it Dundee? And was it Ross County, Dundee? You seen that hornball incident? He gives a penalty. They all said in the panel, and I think Ariels will come back and say it should never have been a penalty. Then he can't see a goal at Easter Road, and then he gets a playoff game at the end of the season with Livingston. So they obviously think he's doing a good job. That's what you're up against, you know.
Yeah, but that's what the new board have got to fight that right away. Fight that right away and say, we're not taking it. Come out with statements every week. Never mind, who cares? Say, you know what I mean? Fight it right away. And they get players that are tough. They get players that say, look, you're not, yeah.
Well, just before that, the phone lines are open. We've got a temporary number at the moment. So if you want to come in and join us, the number's 0141 461 2422. 0141 461 2422. And you can come in and join us here and talk to our social media whiz kid, Mr. AK, who's got hundreds of thousands of followers, haven't you, AK?
I wish. I wish, but what I was going to say to James here, and by the way, welcome to the call. Forgot to say that to you earlier. I think we've got to be careful when we're going down these sort of routes. I don't think the 49ers want to come in with their 10 size 10 pit boots on, you know, and cause fights and that with the SFA and the referees and what have you. I mean, we all know what you're saying is true and it's right, but they'll be under no illusion what they're up against here. But I think they've got to come in and, well, they're not there to make friends. They're there to win, and however they do that, that's their end goal. But tonight's a show about the new ownership, James, and how exciting the times are ahead. But we've got a new board there now, Southside as well, and obviously there's directors there that have vacated seats as well. And I believe that Dave King and John Bennett also sold their entire shareholding, which comes to roughly about 25% between the two of them. So good on them for selling up their own shares in Rangers. I'm sure that would be an emotional decision for the two of them to do that themselves. But to give the 49ers 25% Rangers Football Club was a massive thing for the takeover actually happening in the first place.
Yeah, it's been a good day. I just wanted to mention, I was watching the Sunderland game against Sheffield, and the goalkeeper was excellent for Sunderland. See some of the goalkeepers and English First Division. There's some of them, and he was excellent goalkeeper, much better than anything we've got. I don't know his name, but he was really, really good.
I think that's one of the sort of questions that I think is a support, as we've watched Jack Butland and Liam Kelly. Because I know we've released, I'll come to it later on in the second half of the show, we released 13 of the young players. I'll not be coming back to the club, and 2 of them were goalkeepers that played with the B team and had been on the bench in Europe as well in the past. But goalkeeping, James, there's probably a lot of goalkeepers out there where the manager will probably, when he comes in, and Thel will look at whether they want to have a look at Jack, and you might think he might be there and he might start number 1, we don't know. But I think a lot of the support would think, GB, that I think that we should probably look for a new goalkeeper going forward.
Aye, yep. I think you're needing somebody in there to challenge the position. For me, like Kelly, it's kind of either Kelly in, Kelly out, or Butland in, Butland out. I mean, it's that there's no kind of consistency there now. Like the two of them are kind of, I would say, on an even keel for whoever gets the number 1 position. Whereas you want somebody to probably come in and challenge that and grab it and keep it, kind of thing. Again, the 49ers have been kicking about Ibrox in the background. I would imagine they've seen the howlers that's been produced at times. What Barry Ferguson's probably said to them as well about the squad and stuff like that. So I would be very surprised if we didn't go into a new season with somebody that's maybe a bit younger, but it's coming in to at least challenge the position. And again, it all depends on what Jack Butland's want to do. If Jack Butland's want to end up sitting on the bench, or does he want to go and let's say back down south or whatever, or does he want to step up and show the form that he first shown when he first came to the club? Big questions for him. But again, it just depends where they see the fires for me, Southside. I don't know if that will come for the coach or if that will come for the director of football, but they might see like other areas that need priority first, and maybe they can get by with the goalkeeping side of things. I don't know, mate. But for me, I think the defence is a big priority. We need to get that solid, and then you might find that hopefully the goalkeeping side would maybe settle down a bit.
Aye, if you look at it that way, if you've got a solid defence, and he's mostly dealing with sort of long-range shots, is which he did do against Fenerbahce away, and he was good in that game, then he might have a future, James, going forward under a new manager, if he shows any sort of early season form. But I still think we could get money back on him if he's any intentions of wanting to get back to England. Then I would think it's money you can add to the kitty that they've put forward at the moment of 20 million, James.
Yeah, funny enough, a wee story. I've been asked to do a goalkeeping coach for an hour for this company that they come to Nashville or Mount Juliet, and they invite kids goalkeepers. So they invited me to do goalkeeping, and I'm just I've done it before, but I'm not a goalkeeper. you wouldn't put me in goals. But what I was going to say, if a goalkeeper loses confidence, the Celtic goalkeeper let them into the game with that mistake. Now, he doesn't do it often, but Butland does it often. That's the problem with him. He does it often. You can allow a one now and then, but he does it nearly every second game. His confidence is gone, and I would say get another goalkeeper. I wouldn't trust him because that's what's happened. Yeah, I would get another go. I would get another spine of the team, and they'll get players that are really fast. And Stevie Clifford was making a point in the Rangers Review. He said that some of the players would need someone with a bit of speed, are good players, young players that are fast to take them on. That's why Aberdeen get back into the game against that lot.
No, I never seen it. I didn't know, actually. Got a phone call about 7 o'clock at night to tell me. Just I sort of laughed on the phone. So I never really paid any attention, to be honest. It's what we're going to do going forward. And yeah. I know the club announced, I know it was announced that the club are going to have a general meeting on the 23rd of June for shareholders to welcome the new owners and to ratify the money that they're putting in, probably look at resolutions or whatever they're looking to do. But I know there's going to be a general meeting to ratify it on the 23rd of June, James. And we'll see where it takes us for there. But I think before we get to the 23rd of June, AK, I think we would probably expect we'll have a manager and some new players, and they'll be getting ready to come back for pre-season training.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think supporters have been panicking for no reason, to be honest with you. They all knew that this had to go through the takeover first before they could start to employ managers and get new players in and tell players, no, that's the end of their term. Obviously, we knew the likes of Hadji and Lawrence, that was their tenure up at the end of the season, so we knew about that. Obviously, we're going to have our loanee players coming back to us and see what sort of future they're going to have. I can't imagine Cifuentes and Dow, Davies, Matondo having much of a future. I think James is right. I think we've got to look at the high earners, which we've already got. We've lost Hadji, obviously. So the likes of Butland, Tavernier, guys of that ilk, Dessers, Danilo, I would imagine they'll all be in a hefty wage, and the return of games for what we paid them in transfer and also what we're paying them weekly and monthly and yearly isn't adding up, you know, for the return of games that we're getting out of them. So we're going to look at that, and I'm pretty sure Kevin Thelwell will be looking at all that with a fine tooth comb. We get our new manager in place, and then they make business decisions, football decisions to go forward with. So it's going to be far more professional than we're used to, which is a good thing, because we've all been, you know, calling it out. Ox brings you up stats on a nightly basis about certain players, and it's alarming. You done it yourself, Southside, about Butland's stats before he came to Rangers, you know, so it's the whole thing is going to be wiped clean, I think, and strong decisions for the benefit of the club is going to be made, and there's not going to be any emotion attachment going to it. You know, if somebody's no good enough to go forward with their own a big wage and they're not showing up, well, sorry, but we need to come to some sort of agreement to release you. We need players that are going to be stronger, fitter, younger, faster, robust players that show up every week. That's what we're looking for. For a consistent selection of the team, you need that for success.
Can I make a final point? Then I'll need to go.
Oh yeah, James, on you go.
Yeah. Right, on the manager. I know we've got the guy. Madrid. That guy was
Angelotti Jr. David
Angelotti. Yeah. We've got him, who's no experience at managing a team, and we've got the guy at Ajax, and the guy at Ajax was 9 points ahead with 5 games to go, and they lost the league. And I would ask other guys, who do you think? I would go with the guy that's experienced, because we've had the Beale situation, and I would go with the guy at Ajax, to be honest. But we'd find out why did it not happen? And somebody said it was because they had a bad striker. Maybe they had Dessers, somebody like Dessers playing for them. But
James,
his national team, James.
Oh, Francesco Farioli. Francesco Farioli is the name of that manager.
Yeah. Well, I would go for him, guy with experience, because we've been down that line with Bale and all that, taking chances with guys. Okay, he worked with his father, but is he any good? And I would ask people, ask Ferguson, ask a lot of Italian guys, who would they go for? Do you know what I mean? Know him and so forth. Anyway, well, thanks very much for taking my call, and it's been a pleasure. And I'm so happy that today's came. Being in America, and the Rangers have been taken over by Americans. So it brings back, I think it'll be good times for us. So I'm looking forward to it. But thank you very much, and you're doing a great job, boys. Where's Oxshire today? Not here?
Nah, he's in community service, mate. So,
all right. Okay.
In America.
Is he?
He's wearing an orange boiler suit.
Is he in Nashville, not the penitentiary there, no?
No.
More like Alcatraz.
I've been there. That's why I flew over in San Francisco, Alcatraz, in a helicopter. Oh, thanks very much, and I'll be in touch. Take care. Thank you.
Oh, James, thanks. It's a pleasure as always to hear you come on to the show, mate. Always welcome, as you know.
Thank you.
We'll get a song out you next season, maybe on that guitar.
Yeah, if they won the league, I'll sing for you. How's that?
Oh, well, need to put that date down then, James?
I'll sing for you, win the league. All right.
That's fine.
As long as Oxshire doesn't need to say something bad about me, he's got to say something. Oh, it's so exciting. James has come on to sing a song. Not that James can't sing at all. You know what I mean?
Oh, James, you're a legend, mate. I'm sure you'll blow the socks off him.
Well, I never know. I've got plenty of confidence in myself. No one thinks I've got much confidence. I've always had confidence in my own ability. Okay, take care. Bye.
Right, James. You can just see James turning up at Edmondson House next year. What do you think? Live on stage.
He's 49ers tap on as well.
Aye. Aye, you'll not get away with sending a C-tap. You seen the colours of them, know what I mean? Seen my key rings when you sent them. Right, if you two guys would like to hit mute, we're going to get a tune.
I don't know if you can see what the Rangers really mean to me in these last few years. I've been afraid that we might drift away, so I've been telling old stories and singing songs that made me think about where we came from, and that's the reason why I feel so very proud today. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. Of Brian Laudrup and Trevor Stephen. Big Marvin Andrews said keep believing. Davy Cooper on the wing. And we remember Gaza with great affection. The day the helicopter changed direction, and Jimmy Baxter was pure perfection. Super Ali scores again. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. You know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had.
Aye, that one was just especially for Albert, for the techie team, I believe. So I'm sure Albert would have been happy listening to that. Would you think, AK?
Oh, he'd be tapping his feet and singing along.
Going to get there eventually, isn't he, GB, with the song, isn't he? He's going to get it.
Aye, it'll be Tammy's toes when, let's say, the 49ers are marching in with the new cheerleaders and stuff like that in the first game of the season.
Oh, what's happening? You getting rid of Broxy or something here? You getting rid of the Broxy family?
Aye, well, they can.
Oh, you get it now. You get it now, AK, don't you? You get it, skirt.
Oh, aye.
Bone tear, dark
Listen,
tear.
nothing wrong with that. I tell you, Big Stevie's in Dreamland and all when James is on about the kiosks. He's turned into Fred Flintstone. He sent me a message, yabba dabba doo.
I can see the route you're going down, GB, Broxy and Mrs. Broxy, and that doesn't date for you, obviously.
Well, they can still be in the family stand, mate, but that's his match day experience. You know what I mean? That's got to be enhanced, mate. No.
Anyway, if you want to come and enhance us by joining us on the show tonight, the temporary number at the moment to come on the show and join us is 0141 461 2422. So 0141 461 2422. I'll bring you into the show if you want to come on and talk about it. And obviously, the takeover's complete now. Things look forward. See, come on and give your thoughts. Tell us what you think, what it means to you, maybe, and what you hope that it'll bring to the club going forward. And talking about that, obviously, we've got a new board that's been assembled at the moment. Going forward, and I believe AK has got the members there, who's all just been put onto the board. It's going to go to the general meeting on the 23rd of June.
Yep. Have so, mate. Well, first of all, the guys who have vacated their seats off the old board, some might be pleased to hear, others not. But Graham Park is now off the board. Julian Wolthart and Alistair Johnson, long-serving, I think, former chairman as well as Alistair was. So we thank them for their services. But our new board chairman, obviously Andrew Kavanagh. Vice chairman is Parag Marat. We've got Fraser Thornton there. Patrick Stewart is the CEO, obviously. We've got John Halstead holding his seat. George Taylor holding his seat. And the new members, we've got the Americans here. Now, bear with me. Eugene Schnur, I think is how you pronounce that. Andrew Clayton and Mark Tabor. So they guys offered their wisdom, their intellect, their experience for holding, high positions within the 49ers enterprise within, the American football. And I believe other companies, I think they're all university graduates. They've got a number of letters behind their names, so they offer, quite a lot of expertise there. And obviously we've got George Taylor and John Halstead, familiar guys, and obviously new chairman and everything there. So everything's freshened up drastically, and we're just all looking to buy into it now, mate. It's get behind the new owners, get behind the new manager, whoever that is, and hopefully get behind the new players, new team, and put everything together. And hopefully it's red, white and blue ribbons on the silverware come the end of the season.
Aye, obviously, George Taylor and Halstead staying there, GB. Obviously there's reasons in behind it. But obviously former board members maybe their expertise and stuff, maybe that when they've met them and spoke to them, and maybe they've got a bit still to add to the club, and that's why they're probably being retained. The other ones obviously sold their shares. As you've seen, King and Parks went away, Julian Wolthart and Alistair Johnston. But aye, it's like fresh blood into the board, yeah.
Aye, Southside. You do wonder though, with like King and John Bennett like selling up their shares, what would have happened if they weren't willing to sell their shares? I mean, whether this deal would have even got off the flare. I mean, we've got to congratulate them with possibly actually pushing the deal, in the sense we're willing to give up that amount of shares. And I think the rest of them have just had to follow suit because they knew that they weren't going to have a say in it after, let's say, the two guys are willing to, as AK touched on, like, give up their place at the Rangers table. You mean, there'll always be fans, but let's face it, like, they are giving up that kind of boardroom and having a piece of Rangers in a sense, you mean? So, but this new board set up and stuff like that, I think they've been wise to keep some of the guys that are like Rangers men, as they say, and just there for that wee bit of advice, maybe things that they're just not sure of yet. Maybe let's say in the Scottish League, just things like that, just there to fall back on a wee bit. But then you've got, this is quite a bit of a Leeds connection as well on the new board, Southside, with Rafi and I think is it the Tabor boy, Has he not got a bit in Leeds as well? So I'm surprised that he's in about Rangers as well. So, but I hope they can decide like this is work together between Leeds and Rangers. I hope it doesn't like one doesn't affect the other kind of thing. I hope it's like this is they're there for the benefit of both clubs.
I've never in my head associated it anything to do with Leeds. I know Patrick Murray was there and that, and he's going to be vice chairman at Rangers, but for me, it's two separate identities altogether. Whether we do a deal with him in the future, a player or whatever, it could happen at any time anyway. You could have went to Leeds, or Leeds could have came to us for a player. I'm not really going to read anything into it. I just think that it's us stand alone, and it's what we do in Scotland. And I think probably be more successful Andrew Kavanagh in the consortium for the 49ers enterprises. These group of people, I think, probably have a quicker chance of success in my head going forward than maybe what Leeds will. It's a tougher thing competing in the Premiership. So I think they've looked at us and what they need to do to get us up and running and get us winning and put the right infrastructure in place, AK. And I think it should be a quicker way to success than what maybe Leeds will find in the Premiership. But we stand alone as far as I'm concerned in my head.
Aye, I'm not looking at it as a kind of partnership at all there, GB. I know what you're saying, man. There is a relationship there because of the kind of individuals we've got on our board. But I think the way the 49ers enterprise look at the Leeds investment is you look at the money that the Premiership offers, and with them getting that promotion there, that's like a £200 million gain. You know, the kind of third, what do you call it, the kind of playoff route up into the Premier League. Now Leeds qualified automatically, so they didn't have to go through that route. I think Sheffield United, I think, went up. No, it was Sunderland, wasn't it? Sunderland scored 2 late goals to do Southside's cooking. But we'll not go there. Seems you reminded that one about Dundee at Ross County for a grand. I nearly forgot about that one. But no, you're right there. So you look at the money that they've got through the EPL, so that they would be satisfied with their investment into that so far. But I don't think they're really looking at Leeds to like challenge for honours or silverware or get into Europe right away. So that's a totally different venture away from what we are. They're looking for us to be successful in Scotland. They've said that in their statement. They want trophies, they want success, but they see the finances that Scotland offer, and if you win a treble in Scotland, it's pennies in comparison to most leagues around Europe. So what they're looking at to get money back off their investment, it's got to be Europe. So they're looking at it a wee bit chicken and the egg. The board have really looked at it, you know, tunnel vision. It's all about Europe because we need that money to reinvest back into the club, but it's been squandered in this, and we've took the eye off the ball in Scotland, and Celtic's dominated because of that. They're now looking at it, I think, as, you know, satisfy your customers, satisfy your demand. Supporters want to see silverware, trophies. That's music to our ears because that's what we want. We want, you know, to be that club again and to overtake the trophy count, that is ours, to be the Kings of Scotland. But what's on the back of that is Champions League, and that's where they want to be. And then it's just a matter of reinvesting, recycling the money that you're making off of Europe into your team to keep your dominance in Scotland under, like say, the David Murray years. And that's the kind of, I think the strategy is what they've got in mind. So let's hope so. Let's hope so, because the Stefan Borson interview, I mean, I think you've seen it, GB, was it a week or two ago? We all were under the impression it's not going to be a quick fix and you've got to watch what you're spending. According to him, he wasn't even bothered about that. He says that there's actually plenty of examples across Europe of clubs overspending what their income actually was, and the punishments given out by UEFA, it was just a slap in the wrist sort of stuff. So if we can do that to get ourselves back successful, #1 team in Scotland, he reckons the financial implications for that is worth the kind of, you know, that strategy. So it'll be interesting to see the sort of signing, the players that they get, and see where it puts us. That's what I'm really interested about.
Well, I think I'll come to GB. Like, there's going to be a share issue. This general meeting's going to be about, once it gets ratified, get a share issue, right? So they're willing to put 20 million in up front. So if you don't sell a player, well, say we sell Raskin in the summer, say somebody comes in and offers you 15 million, just for talking sake, 10, 15 million. If they think it's worth it, we take the money. That adds it to the pool. If somebody wants to come in and take somebody else and we sell them, then it adds to the pool of money. So there should eventually be a decent amount of money in the kitty. That's not including money we'll probably get in for Doyle. If we get in for Matondo going forward, somebody wants to come in and buy Dessers and he wants to go, and we get decent money in for him. And as we know, the fringe players that are there, the Danilos and other ones that we know we could cash in. If somebody comes in and offers decent money for Yefty, they'll probably think we'll take it, because they'll probably have a scouting network anyway. Coppin should have a list of players. They'll have an idea, and they'll have probably done their homework in the background with the amount of players that are available, GB. So I can see he's busting the kitty anyway, regardless.
There must have been Southside last season murmurings of this coming for us to be clearing decks in the last transfer window. The summer transfer window. Now we were very, very quiet, very, very cautious and stuff like that. Players had to get let go and all that, Kiro. And I think there's been like the tidy up process so that our financial fair play is very accessible this season coming. I mean, this transfer window coming, and like you says, if there's more money to be added to the pot, then I think they will take it, because they'll probably see value in it. The remit. And by the way, just touching on the lead thing, I don't see it as a negative, these boys being on our board. I'm just saying that maybe it's just got to be that way, that they've got that much money they can enjoy a team being in the Premier League, and then they'll enjoy a team being in the Champions League and winning trophies as well. You know what I mean? If you've got that much money, well, why not enjoy a few things? You know what I mean? But no, back to the kind of, like, say, the investment side of things and the kitty, then I think they'll try and gather up as much as possible to build, like I say, a team that's full of quality. And by the way, you might find that they'll be spending top dollar on like good loans as well, good loan signings, just to help that kind of financial fair play thing. You know what I mean? So I say that you might see maybe your 23, 24 age players coming in, but then you might see your experienced guys coming, like say what we've seen with like Czerny and stuff like that. You might see them come in maybe a better quality again, but on loan, that we can cover that through just wages and stuff like that. So exciting times ahead. I'm desperate for them to just hurry up and announce the manager, because I think once they do that, the ball will start rolling. You know what I mean? It's just we've been patient enough, and I think we're just, like I says, we're wanting it done, and then we're just wanting the new season to be here as quick as possible.
I think everybody is a support out there. I think we should be all excited now, because we understand the calibre of people who's coming into the club, and obviously we're expecting them to make the right decisions. But as a supporter to you, AK, obviously, what's more important, do you think as a support, do you think more people will think the investment's more important, or do you think they'll think that we've got real professional sports board now coming in that's going on to the board of directors, and probably over the next year you'll probably find maybe another one or two might change, but initially, do you think that we've got real professional sports board now, people that know what they're doing and are going to make the right decisions, and you can look at what they've done in the past to see will be a better run club for the future? Or do you think people will think, well, it's just money going in, so we need the money?
Oh, listen, I think the two of them come hand in hand. I think the supporters will look at it, they'll look at layman's terms and just look at the sort of money that's coming into the club for recruitment, for transfers, what we're paying out. and see the sort of calibre of player that we're going to be bringing in. I think we're starting from scratch. Albert spoke about it most of the season, come on to the job to build the foundations to carry on for success, but he also stated, come on, wouldn't he see through the term, to get to where we want to get to. I also spoke about it as well, reflecting back in Man City and the way that they done it. I remember, I can't remember who, was it Mark Hughes or Stuart Pearce was their first kind of managers, and then went up to like Kevin Keegan, and then they get Sven, Gordon Eriksson, Mancini, and built themselves up to Pep, and they've spent over $1 billion, probably $2 billion on that, but it's been a gradual process. You could see, the improvement year on year, the standard of manager they were getting, the standard of player they were getting, but they're up against like say Liverpool, who were strong, a Man United who were strong, Chelsea, they were up against 6, 7, 8 clubs. We're only up against one, and it's a club that we've proved over the last year that we can beat in a one-off game, but we're not good enough to win a league because of the strength and depth of our squad wasn't good enough, and we lost stupid points. We all know about it. We've spoke about it. So we need to improve the quality of player within our team, and that's obvious. But we can't forget our roots. We've went outside the Scottish market for too much, and we've filled too many players that don't know what it is to go to a Dundee or a Motherwell or Kilmarnock or Aberdeen or Hearts, they don't know what they're facing, so they're coming in there going, what is this? That this isn't the sort of football that we're playing on. They're playing in these stupid parks, and we're going to get another one next year with Livingston coming back in. So we've kind of got to fill, and I think they've already recognised that because they're bringing in the boy Lyle Cameron, and we've already got young Barron for Aberdeen, so they recognise that. They're also looking at the other young boy for Dundee, and we've got to start integrating the kind of players already in the league with better quality. And that was, if you're looking at it, that's what Walter did for a lot of years in a lot of successful teams. Even Advocate done that, bringing in the likes of Billy Dodds and guys like that with wee Rod Wallace there today. But you just need to, they need to be clever with the recruitment, and obviously no overspend on the likes of the wage structure as well. I think that's what they're going to bring to Rangers. They're going to bring a total professionalism to that, and if they think that somebody isn't worth the money that they're paying them, i.e. a Matondo or a Kmart Ruth or a Helander, they're going to recognise that quicker than what they were doing and say, no, you're not producing what we bought you to produce, so off our books, and they can afford to do that, whereas before we were kind of like stuck with them, if you know what I mean.
Well, if you'd like to come and join us on the show tonight for the last 40 minutes or so, the number is 0141 461 2422. It'll bring you right into the show, and you can use a chat while you're chatting what you think of the takeover and anything today with Glasgow Rangers. Yes, we're talking about, we've released 13 young boys. They got released, Rangers released a statement. The 2 goalkeepers, Lewis Badanaukis and Jay Hogarth, 2 of them have been released. Jacob Pazakis, Jack Harkness, left back, Christian Webster, centre back, Leighton Grant, Keir Robertson, midfielder, and Dan McInally and Grant Leach and Harry Weir. They were all released, along with obviously Adam Devine, who's left, Cole McKinnon and Archie Stevens. So see Rangers have come out and thanked them for their time at the club. Disappointed there's 2 or 3 in there that I thought could have maybe tried to have kicked on, but they're all gone now, and that was the news of the day. GB?
Archie Stevens has been one that you've mentioned before, Southside, and I think unfortunately where we're going, the youth system side of things has got to need a good few years before it's pushing for the first team. Just in my opinion, mate. I think like they've probably seen that these boys are just they're not going to have the time on their side to wait about to get the opportunity that they're hoping for, and it's probably more worthwhile for them to go out and have a footballing career, and hopefully they develop, and they're one of the players that we have to go and end up signing for $4 million or something like that down the line. I mean, or we get them on a pre-contract or something like that. I mean, it's maybe the end of the journey they know, but there's, like I says, there's always a journey back if, like I says, if they're good enough. And I think what you'll see now with the new director of football is you'll see a total refresh of the academy. I think there's been talk having a partnership with Rafe Rovers as well to try and get some loan players out. So hopefully in the years to come, which I do think it is, it's got to be multiple seasons Southside before we actually see somebody that will probably challenge this first team going forward, mate.
I heard something about that. Maybe possible. I don't know if it's official or no, but I heard you mention it earlier with Rafe Rovers. Maybe something you'd like to maybe try, but playing an artificial pitch, I just don't. I know playing that league, I know in the Championship the last season there, half the teams played, it was absolutely split down the middle. They were plastic and grass. So it's not something I want to see my players exposed to too much, to be honest. But it'd be good to maybe get that. But I'll be interested in AK to see if they can find a path with their strategy of getting our young players for the academy into the first team, and see how the coaching maybe changes or develops. And I'm interested to see how our injuries go as well, going forward with sports science and whatever they might have in the background that they use in American football and stuff like that they've learnt for there, or whatever else. Even learning for Leeds at the time when they've been in there. But I don't know, sometimes if I just think it's your training. Sometimes it may be, I know some players we know are sick notes, but on the whole, I'm wondering sometimes, is it really down to sometimes how we train and the length of time that we train?
I was just going to say that, mate. It's maybe down to the guys who were led to believe. I don't know whether it's true or no. I hope no, but 2 hours a day. They're coming in at the back of 9, starting training at 10. They're leaving for 12 because they've got to pick up their weigh-ins. Where's your priorities? You're a full-time professional football player, which for me, you should be in Rangers training centre. If you're not in the park doing routines and, you know, getting used to your teammates and stuff and drills and all that, well, you should be in the weight room, or you should be doing recovery work. You should be doing something for at least 6-7 hours a day. Surely that's not too much to ask for the wages that they guys are on. I mean, you see the results that they're producing and the lack of success that they're given. That they're no, you know, is it too much to ask? A professional football player, say, on 10, 20, 30 grand a week for a 2-hour day? Come on. And then they wonder why thing with the supports up mums about the lack of effort and about the lack of, you know, just the apathy that they show towards the team, because they don't have any feeling for the club. They're mercenaries. That's the way I see them. But I think, I feel sorry for the likes of Archie Stevens. GB, you picked up on it there. Southside and I have seen them with Albert. They too much more than me. I really liked the look of the young boy. I thought he had a future. For me, he's a better player, far better player than Ross McCausland. I know Ross is obviously jumped ahead of him because Clement promoted him into the team and he done well when he initially came in. But he's kind of lost his confidence and he's dropped right out the team. That boy is going to be a good player for somebody. You just hope that he has the right attitude for the setback that he's had. It's a blow, but you see the likes of Lewis Ferguson and what he's done with his career after the early setback that he had with us. He's now starting in Italy, and good on him. But that's a boy that could have been starting with us. Billy Gilmore, another one. Different circumstances, of course, but Nathan Patterson, another one. These are boys that we could have been having in our teams and starring roles in now, but because of how poorly run the club was and different, you know, a lot of things, factors were in the decisions to move on. But you're losing these boys, I think, with the structure in Scotland. I think Southside reserve team, there's nothing there for them, you know.
I think we've been joined with Carol, I think. How you doing, Carol?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That
Okay. A bit, I'm happy it's 10 or, and a bit sad as well. Because I've never thought I would see a Rangers club have the chairman called Kavanagh. I must admit. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but it's sort of rails.
Aye, I think it's it's all changed. You're no got Rangers men now heading the club anymore, Carol.
I know that.
And some of the old board members that fought hard to get it off the spivs back in the day. Now we're back to 10 years down the line, and now
I know
they've
that.
handed the reins over, you know.
Well,
we've got to go and. Aye, we need investment, don't we? We need to get a new charge, mate, to get back to making Rangers great again when they part winning trophies, innit?
Well, I don't go with these mottos, make Rangers great again, just give the jairs. I'm no a happy clapper for America, by the way, you know.
GB. On you go, let GB come back. No, sir. Aye, on you go.
I'm not a happy club. What? Sorry, I may have new alphabet to my good ear. Right, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's all well and good, but are we going to be any better? Are we going to get investment? I mean, 20 million, fair and good. But what does 20 million buy you? I watched Sky Sports tonight. Liverpool's paying 105 million for one player, and 20 million, what's that going to buy you? The throw City bought me your crisps.
Well, in Scotland, listen, 20 million can buy you an Engels and buy you an Aida. No, so there's what you can get for 20 million, you know.
If you think that's worth something. Do you think that's worth it?
No.
I would rather buy a packet of Spangles.
Waste of money, Carol, but that's how you can waste it. But I think we'll have money to spend in the summer. I think we'll get rid of players. I'll go to GB first and then AK, but I think we could probably say there might be 1 or 2 year players might attract interest in the summer. And if the money's right for them, and I think we'll probably sell GB.
Aye, we will Southside. And Carol, that will just only be like 20 million. There's got to be money saved with the transfers that we've let guys go and stuff like that, which will probably rise to about 10. So probably, unless we get any sales, you're looking at about a £30 million pot. And I think in our league, that's more than enough to go and challenge for a title. As we've seen in the boys that have already been doing it, Leeds and stuff like that, they're able to find players that are actually unknowns but can play, that are technically really, really good. And as they've said in their statement, they're going to tap into every bit of the 49ers enterprise. So they'll be, I mean, you're just not going to have Klopp scouting now. You're going to have, like I say, an enterprise scouting the full world, finding the best talent, best stats. It's got to be a bit like Moneyball. I mean, you're going to find, like I say, there's got to be boys out there that will have right good stats, but we've probably never heard of them on a puff, and we'll be able to pick them up for a decent price.
I think that's a good idea. You know, you don't always need to have a player with a name. You just need to get a player.
No. Mm-hmm. Aye, no, that's what I'm saying. I think these guys, they work to that kind of thing where it's the Moneyball thing where he might have a brilliant defensive record and we're failing in that area, so they'll just sign him to day one job. I mean, whereas sometimes you get these guys, like say what we're doing with Egerman, we're trying to play him as a winger, we're trying to play him as a centre forward, we're trying to play him as a 10.
Oh, wait a minute with Egerman. Hold your fire on that. He's not proved himself yet. Okay, he scored a few good goals, but I don't think he's an out-and-out centre. I really don't. No. I've watched him. He does drift out his cell. even when he was playing centre forward. Come on, you've got to admit it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You've got to round it off, you know.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we're taking a guy and we're playing him in about multiple positions. Like the guys that have came in for the 49ers, they'll not do that. They'll buy 2 players to deal with a position. They'll know to be moving about players. They'll buy them for a purpose.
Carol, I think when you look at Ignaman, right, I agree, and I've said it on the show, if you've probably heard, he does drift out even when he's at number 9s at time, you're looking right, but that's just probably him inexperienced and no sticking through the middle, whereas if you look in the middle of the park when Dessers is playing, you know he's through the middle, he's always on the shoulder, but the wee man's a different type of player, but he has to learn. We can't rely on him solely, I agree with you, but I think for his first full season in the games and at the level that he's been exposed to this season, I think 16 goals return is rather good. And as Albert kept saying,
that, but I don't think he's that way. You know, I don't think he's an out-and-out forward. I really don't. I mean, I'm old.
I know, but you can see there's something there. I'll come to EK, let him see what he thinks. I agree, he doesn't play on the shoulder. I don't think he'll run in the channel too much, Carol, right? But he's got potential. He's got certain levels of ability. He can score a goal out of nothing, like just the other week here when he came out for the player at Aberdeen and he flicked it and smashed it in. But AK, what do you think?
Oh, listen, Iggaman's, he's just cutting his teeth as a professional football player. I mean, you've got to look at where he came from. Moroccan League, he came out here, didn't speak a word of English. So we're developing him as a person as well as a player. So we've helped him there as much as we could. You know, we've got one of his countrymen on the coaching staff. He's getting used to the robustness and the physical aspects of the Scottish League. And he's just trying to cut his way in the game. The new Cal, he's only a boy.
What age is he?
What is he, 21, 22?
That's not a boy, son. That's not a boy.
Well, but as long as he played professional football, he's only played 1 year as a professional football player. Jamie Vardy was...
Okay, but it's not a boy. We've got to get this out of our system. He's not a boy when he's playing professional football.
Cal, this is a totally different regime now that's going to look at the recruitment. The recruitment that we've had in the past, we're looking at it for a totally different aspect now. You know, we used to look at Ross Wilson's idea was bringing in free transfers on big wages because of our quality players, but we were stuck with them, i.e. a Lundstrom and i.e. a Butland, what we've got to now.
I never liked that, by the way.
No, I know. But that's where we went wrong, big style. The board got loads of flack over the last 10 years in particular. It's not because that they didn't put up money. It's because we squandered it following the process and the strategy of listening to wrong people. That's where Douglas Park and name fell apart after Dave King left. Mark Allen was replaced with Ross Wilson, and him and Stuart Robertson had the run the Rangers because they had nobody opposing them in the boardroom to say otherwise. We didn't have a football-minded person on there to say, no, that's not the way to go, this is the way to go. But now it's a totally different regime. We've got professional people that's in there. Let's give them a chance and get behind them, Cal.
I do agree with that, but I was called an idiot in about 3 or 4 different podcasts.
Oh, not at all. You're not an idiot at all.
Because I says signing Butland's a bad move. He hadn't played and he's getting big wages. But he's a free transfer. No, he's not free. He gets a signing on fee plus money.
You're correct there, mate.
Well, hopefully I take it. Well, Jack Butland see the same, that when they put a £20 million kitty in, Carol, right, and then I'll come back to GB. They've put that 20 million in now. Anything we bring in transfer funds, any more sponsorship deals that get put in place going forward once they make the announcements, that will add to the kitty and that will give us more money to spend. So
as long as it's better play, as long as you know it goes into that financial fair play, we've got to watch that.
But if we boost our turnover up, and going forward, Carol, as well, and even through European football and the exposure that they can expose us to with certain deals that people might come, we're doing a share issue as well to get money.
Also, because I want to buy shares too.
Well, there's a share issue coming up, which you'll probably have a chance to go into at some point, but I just think it's positive.
Is that you, chance. Is that you,
No, Southside.
Southside, tell me, how can I buy shares? I've tried in my bank, and they don't know how to do it.
There's a website. I'll get somebody to send you a message, right? I'll find out.
You can't send me a message. I'm not going to any of that. I'm Fred Flintstone, by the way.
Right,
I'll tell you the
truth. we'll get it sorted if there's a way. It'll be announced anyway. But I don't mind ages ago. But I think there is a mob. There's a mob that you can go to up the town, I believe.
I'm in Southside. I can't go up the town.
Nah, you're all right. We'll get something for you. GB, I just think we've got to look positively into it. There's going to be money that they've earmarked at the moment and going forward. Obviously, it's something, as long as the manager spends it wisely, Thelwell, whoever's in control of it, picking players in that, then hopefully going forward, we pick the right people this time. Tiffany shareholder, I think it's Tiffany. Something like that, you can get shares for.
Good.
I think that the only shining light for last season, Southside, was that we had a good Europa League run. So again, we're forgetting about all that money for that. I mean, that will all be in amongst the books as well. And what it says, we didn't spend a lot last season. Didn't spend a lot in the summer. Didn't spend a lot in January. In fact, we only got a loan in January. So we've not even put a dent in financial fair play, to be honest. So this summer's got to be massive. And we've got to get the recruitment right. But I think what it says, we've got a lot of really good professionals coming our way. Like say, this director of football, he's been in the Premier League. He's probably seen multiple right good players that are probably sitting in either academies or sitting on a bench, desperate to show their talent off and not getting the opportunity. And then if what's been touted with the new coach that's coming in, well, he's seen the best of the best throughout Europe. So again, he'll be able to pick up, hopefully, some talent for us as well. So it's all good. I think what it says, there's got to be a bedding in process like anything, but I don't think anybody coming to Rangers would be coming wet behind the ears. Like this new coach, this new director of football, this new consortium, they're coming here to win. They're not coming here to just be second fiddle, you know what I mean?
If you look up Tiffany share brokers, Carol, they do it.
Aye.
Tiffany share brokers, aye. You can get shares there, all right?
Thanks a lot. I'm just trying to get some for my grandmains before I pop off, you know.
That's quite right. Why not? Either that, or you can always go into my jails and the money gets ring-fenced straight into the first team and all.
Wait a minute, I already got my jails for my grandmains.
Good, well done, mate. Well done. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, helps. Obviously, we'll all be thinking...
Not for me, because I'm too old for that, Kerry, when I don't want a wee box with a badge in it, you know.
Well, it's something you can keep in it. It's something for the grandwains, isn't
it? I know, they get them. I've got my own badges, you know.
Can imagine what type of badges. No, I can imagine. The old badges for the old days.
I'm not for that old. I can remember, I got a fright. I don't want to sound political. I remember when the Daily Record says 60% of the Rangers fans were all terrorists. And here was me, I was thinking it was 90.
I was going to say, GB, what do you think? Do you think there's any players in the squad now that you think will attract attention?
I mean, Raskin, obviously, because again, he's back in that Belgium squad, isn't it? I mean, anybody kicking about in that squad's obviously got money on their back. I mean, it's a go-to kind of squad, isn't it? To raid, there's always talent kicking about it, and like I says, that boy's season's been fantastic. He showed his quality in Europe. He's been scoring goals, so I would definitely think there's going to be interest there. And by the way, there's been reports that even Egerman, for all he's had his faults this season, he's got interest in France. So if anybody see it, let's face it, we don't know if Egerman will ever kick on and be the player that we all think he'll be. He might just be a bang average player. But I tell you, if somebody comes in and offers like, I don't know, 5 million for him, we've got to just take it and get it into the pot, because
Nah, GB, I'm not going for 5. Not going for 5.
Well, we're now in a position, mate, that we can go and reinvest that. I mean, we can go and get maybe better. I mean, or a finished article player for that. So
you could sell Danilo for 5 then, right? But you know, rather sell Danilo for 5, right? Than sell Higdeman. You know what I mean? Think about it that way, Higdeman.
But
you know,
Danilo's went and shot himself in the foot. Mere once his value's down at rock bottom. I mean, so we'll be lucky to get a pound back for him if we try to sell him on. But no, like Egerman, what I mean, if somebody offered 5 million with add-ons and all the rest of it for him, we can't knock that back now and just sit on it and wait. No,
we can.
5
million is nothing. In this day and age, 5 million. If you're going to a European team or down south, 5 million is too little.
Well, we're knocking back 7 million for Tierney. We're thinking that's too much.
No, it's 9 million is up to.
Well, there you go. So that's for a guy that's scoring goals, who's proven.
Aye, but he's 27. You've got to remember that. What you want for Egerman? 5 million? You must be joking. It has to be more.
I'm not wanting 5 million for him, but what I'm saying is, if we get offered money for him, we're going to have to take it.
Aye, but no 5. No going with 5.
No 5. Come on.
I think we can get a lot more than that going forward. I think he should be part of the team going forward. Carol, have you got a pause button when you're not talking on that because you're coming through?
Oh, sorry. Am I coming through on the phone?
Aye.
I have to look. I have to phone my light. You know, I'm sitting in my cell, so I've got a mute.
If you've got a mute button when you're not talking...
Is that better?
Aye, that's perfect, aye. Just because you're getting a lot of background noise for you when you weren't talking, all right. AK, I think the man probably part of the team going forward next season. I think he's a definite player that I think will probably have a big part to play next season to a point. Obviously we'll rotate, but looking for a good season for him.
I would think so. At this moment in time, he's one of the few assets that we have under contract at the club. So you've got to look at his development. The first season, he said 16 goals return, and he wasn't starting a lot of the games as well. Obviously, he kind of fell in and out games, but that comes with youth, doesn't it? You've got to keep yourself interested, but he's got to find a position. He can't let his attitude have the petted lip because he's not playing the central striker and that. He's making impacts when he comes on, but he's got to learn the role and just learn being a professional football player. But at this moment in time, he's one of the few assets that we do have. So it's not a bad starting point to keep a few of them, and obviously, you know, bring quality players in the rest of the positions. I mean, we're really looking for, I would say, out of the team that finished the season to the team that's starting next, in August, I think you could be looking at about 8 or 9 starters to come straight into that team, and the rest of them are just going to drop into being as a squad player and fight for positions, because the level of player that we've had, it's been okay, but no good enough, which is apparent with our results.
Right, I'll come back to Carol, because Carol, that's perfect, mate. Probably should have said it to you earlier. I don't know if you had a pause, mute button there, but that's perfect when you weren't talking. Just had a lot of feedback. Carol, another player, as we're talking about there, Jeffrey, his first full real season playing at the level that he's had to play at, and the amount of games that he's played for when he came for Cyprus on loan, coming to Brazil. But I think although he's made a lot of mistakes at times, I think he's had no a bad season for the amount of games that he's been exposed to at that level, Carol.
Well, I think he's been excellent, actually, for the amount of games he's played. I mean, the guy's got an engine. He's got skill. All right, he's got to learn, but in Scotland you have to learn fast, because they keep telling us it's a two-team league, but I look at England, that's a two-team league as well, you know, and the rest of them are boring as hell. I think there's more in Scotland in football-wise, even though we say it is a farmers' league, but there's a lot of good players in Scotland. And now and again we put ourselves, it's a farmers' league, that's a hell. It's as good as half of this crap that's played down here.
Aye, Carol, I think the boys spoke about it earlier.
I never heard earlier, sorry.
Aye, well, we talked about some of the younger boys that were in Scotland, though, that we could have maybe picked up at times. But Lewis Ferguson, as we'd spoke about before, but I think if he'd came at the time when he could have came, I think he might not have gone on to be the player that he has been there in Italy. You know, just because we were in a bit of turmoil with managers and swapping managers and it all gone wrong, and then people just looked at him, maybe thought he's not good enough. That's the way I find it. But I thought boy James Penrice was decent, and I think he did a really good season at Hearts, and I think he could have been a boy we could have looked at. I think he's looked well, Carol. Right, if you hit mute again, I'll come to GB on this one, right? If you don't mind, just so we've got no background noise. GB, so as we're just about to sort of close up the show, who's your sort of thought heading to that we might get as manager? Because obviously we don't know. It will be announced probably maybe Monday, Tuesday, hopefully, as we're hoping. What's your gut telling you who it might be?
My gut was going to be Gerrard, but obviously that's been announced that it's definitely not happening. Which, to be honest, in hindsight now, Southside, with the way the take-care is and the way these guys operate, I think it probably wouldn't have been a good choice. The Ancelotti one just hasn't went away. It's always been a name in the headlines and stuff like that. The boy they just got sacked for Ajax. He's just came out of nowhere. And the Russell Martin one has just had no go for me. So, to be honest, I think the Ancelotti one ticks all the boxes now. He's not got managerial experience, but if you're appointing a head coach, and that's what his remit is a head coach, then he's already done that role. He's done that role at top clubs. I mean, he's been head coach at Real Madrid. He's been head coach at was it Bayern as well, and then he had his bit at Everton. So I says if we're hiring him for that purpose, then I think we're going to have a good one there, and I think he'll be the new man, the new head coach of Glasgow Rangers.
AK, you think he's going to be installed?
I think it's looking nailed on for that now, particularly with Gerrard declaring himself out the running there during the week. I think his wife just didn't fancy coming to Scotland. She didn't come when they initially get appointed as a manager, and that was a stumbling block for him. Obviously, young family and what have you, and he wasn't seen a hell of a lot with him. I mean, Gerrard's got his own drive as a player. He's had it for he was a young boy as a player to succeed as best as he can, and he had a brilliant playing career. He's now trying to cut his teeth in management, and we gave him his first shot at it. Taking him a while to get where he wanted to get to, but I think he was let down with the previous board, and I don't think he kind of accepted that. So I think he made the excuse up that it was his missus that was kind of edging him down to England again. But I think there was I think he wanted to kick on, he really did, but the board didn't back him on certain players. So he made his decision, he's moved on, but if he's left us, he's not been a success at all, mate. Aston Villa and then out in Dubai, but the lifestyle out in where he is now, and I think his family is really settled there. Well, she certainly seems to rule the roost in the house, so she's put the foot down on that, which is disappointing a few of the supporters. But now out the shortlist, I'm with GB, Russell Martin, no way. I think he's pretty much nailed on for Leicester, so good luck to them with that one. The Fariola one has come out the blue a wee bit, to be honest with you. But I think the way the Americans look at a kind of sporting team, they like to have this head coach role, and the director of football is in charge of recruitment, and your CEO is in charge of the kind of business kind of stuff and dealing with the media and all that. So I think it's just a totally different strategy and direction that we've got as a football club, and I think Ancelotti will be announced as our next manager.
All right, Carol, they're going for Ancelotti, and he's got no managerial experience of getting out in his own unless he's Daz with him. And
I don't care.
They're ruling out Russell Martin. What do you think? Do you think the support? What do you think of the support is? Because see, if you look at Russell Martin, I looked at him, I kept wondering what the attraction was, right? And when I looked back and seen stuff and listening to a lot of people that talk about him, although he's got the philosophy, the way he wants to play, when he's into the Premier League, he's not got the calibre of player, but he's sticking by his philosophy. And it's probably doing
I'm not a great believer in philosophy. I think you've got to be adaptable. I don't know anything about any of them, to tell you the truth, but philosophy, I don't give a monkeys about that. As long as it's no P. Francis, I don't care. You know, just he's a manager or a coach. They'll take their orders from above and they'll play the way they're told, and God help us, let us win something.
All right, Carol, well, thanks, mate, because we're coming to the end of the show. So thanks for calling as always, mate.
Lovely to hear from you back on the air again, because the last few times you were on, it was, I don't know, it was ragging with you, you know. But
there's a lot of stuff out of our control, to be honest. And
it's great. I know you've got a new number now and everything. God bless a lot of you. And always remember, we still are the people.
Carol, it's only a temporary number at the moment, right? We're hoping to get our old number back. I know
it'll come up on the screen when I'm watching it in telly then.
Right, okay, buddy, but thanks for joining us.
I'm looking forward to hearing you again. Sometimes I don't call in because of my crap telephone, but it's always wonderful to hear from you.
Well, see the technology we've got. See the technology we've got now. You can talk a wee bit quieter, and you'll not come through blasting us right in here. So you can talk a bit quieter.
I'm sorry about that, but that's how I talk. I've always spoke like that. You know, hey, I'm a loud man. Okay, good night, lads.
Night, buddy.
Have a wonderful weekend, by the way. Good night.
Both decibel of 1,000 or something, wasn't it?
You could even hear that phone going down as well.
It was good to hear Carol get in anyway, because usually he had problems, as we know before, didn't he? So no, he's loud and clear anyway, is he no, UK?
100%. But I mean, you normally get geez, that's me away again.
All right, well, used to our own Ancelotti, so we'll see come Monday or Tuesday when it's the managers, hopefully, on the field.
What about you?
I'm going for a win. I'm going for a winning manager. That's what a manager that can win.
And who's that?
Winning manager.
Come on.
A winning manager.
I'll
be honest. I'm not keen on Ancelotti. I'm certainly no. He doesn't come for me with the experience. I've been a manager at himself. And when it's going wrong at Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, when he's maybe been out there doing this and that, for me, his dad's always get the call. Walter used to come down the stair when Ali was making us in the cup games. No, he come down and sorted it out and came out in the touchline when we done St Mirren with 9 men and all that. So But if it is him, I'll support him. He'll obviously tactically and all this, he'll have an idea, but so's many a manager when they come in, as they're all down in Russell Martin at the moment. He would come with an idea. I'm not saying that it'd be the right choice either. I don't know. I just want a manager. Hopefully, he'll come in and he'll be successful, and we'll get back to winning ways. But whoever it'll be, we'll support him anyway. We've got no choice, and hopefully the board will make the right choice. So, GB, first to you. Last words.
Thanks for having us, Owen, lads. Like I say, it's a big day for Rangers today, and it's been good to kind of air it out a bit. And like I say, you're right. Ancelotti's a kind of what's some of the background there. I'll just finish at that. Good night, and like I say, hopefully speak to you soon.
No, mate, thanks as always for helping us out tonight. I thoroughly appreciate it. After the news breaking, decided to do a show, so thanks for helping out as always, mate. I appreciate it. I'd also like to thank Carol, who phoned in tonight, and James from Tennessee. Good to have them on, calling the show again. So hopefully we'll get more callers in as the show's going. Just the next time the news breaks, hopefully on a manager. Thank all the YouTube trips as always for joining the show tonight. Everybody out there on Facebook, Twitter, MixLR and any other device you're listening to. I'd like to thank you for listening in. AK?
Oh, I thought that was you wrapping up the show there. No, brilliant show tonight, mate. Enjoyed talking to yourself, GB and the callers that was in there. Hopefully everybody enjoyed listening to it as well. Be back your next big announcement. Hopefully not too far away for that one as well. But aye, let's look forward to our American Revolution.
Aye, hopefully, mate. Hopefully it's good times. Hopefully we'll have good news. We'll have plenty to talk about next week. We get a new manager in place, and then we get to see some players come in. So I think that's as we're looking for, and so as the whole support. I'd like to thank Fox and Old School Blue for all the hard work they've been doing over the last number of weeks to get this show up and running, and the way the quality is coming back. Some things are out of control, and they've got to deal with it. So I'd like to thank them for getting the show up and running again, and thank everybody for listening to the show tonight. So as always, there's only one team and one crown. Take it away, Fox.